The White House has once again invoked the Hatch Act to avoid tough questions, this time refusing to speak about the cocaine found inside the White House. Watch.
Former President Trump has made some pretty wild posts recently on social media. One of them was that the cocaine found in the White House had belonged to either the president or his son. Are you willing to say that that's not the case, that they don't belong to them?
I don't have a response to that because we have to be careful about the Hatch Act.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha joins us now. Joe, what is up with that response?
That's an odd one because he could have just denied it. Of course it doesn't belong to the president or his son.
Of course it's not the president's cocaine.
Yeah, instead he's like, how do I not answer this question? Hatch Act, of course.
What?
Richard Painter, he was with the Bush administration, then he ran for Congress as a Democrat last year. And he had a great answer on this when somebody asked him, hey, because he's published several stories about the Hatch Act. He says, quote, what the expletive does this have to do with the Hatch Act when it pertains to cocaine? This is the most ridiculous invocation of the Hatch Act I've ever heard. Look, Team Biden's just hoping this goes away, and the media is there to help. Last night, despite new developments in this case, all right, ABC and CBS didn't cover it whatsoever because they totally wouldn't have covered it if this happened under the Trump administration. NBC News gave it 41 seconds. So lather, rinse, repeat, bias of omission 101.
And really quickly, the Hatch Act basically says that if you work in the executive branch, you can't use your podium to campaign for only the president and vice president can do. So cocaine denial is not campaigning for the president. It's a news story.
Yeah,
precisely.
And they should be answering questions about this regardless if they want to. It's uncomfortable. But you were talking about the time spent on the networks.
Yeah.
Between the three of them, ABC, CBS, and NBC, 40 seconds. Is that, really quickly, is that any shock to you that they are just kind of also brushing this under the rug?
No, we've seen this movie before with the Hunter Biden laptop, for example. Anything to do with Hunter Biden, it's like the third rail of journalism.
Isn't that concerning that anything negative toward the Biden administration coming into 2024, it's like the same story over and over again coming into an election year?
Let's not focus on the current president or his son. Let's concentrate on the guy running against him.
Yeah,
that's always the cover here.
And the fact that cocaine was found at the White House is no small thing, especially now that we're learning that it was found in a more secure area than we had heard previously, that no normal visitors like you and me can get into. So there are a whole bunch of questions here, and I am also confused as to why the White House isn't answering these questions, because the president very well could be a victim in this situation.
It was found, according to the latest reporting, near the Situation Room. Okay, so this is no longer, a tourist may have dropped it type of situation. And by the way, at first, no one knew what this powder was.
It could have been anthrax.
Yeah.
Precisely. So more people should be taking this seriously.
Speaking of answering questions, Media Research Center did some work so that we don't have to, analyzing all of Karine Jean-Pierre's responses from January to June of this year. And when asked about Biden family business dealings, she only gave direct answers 2% of the time. Wow.
If Karine Jean-Pierre ran a funeral parlor, no one would die, right? In other words, this is somebody when was the last time you guys who do this show on a daily basis ever had something newsworthy come out of the daily press briefing? All she does is deflect. Whatever a story is about, if it's about, say, the Biden scandals, well, that is really under the purview of the Department of Justice. When it comes to cocaine, well, that's really under the purview of the Secret Service. These daily press briefings have become worthless, and reporters in that room who are not named Ducey or Heinrich should be demanding more answers. Don't let her pivot. Continue to press and get some answers for the American people on things that really do matter.
Yeah.
I want to switch gears here. I want to leave enough time for this.
Let's talk about the baby.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about the baby later. The Angel Studios Sound of Freedom it beat Disney's Indiana Jones, okay? Which I didn't think that was going to happen. But what does that signify to you that Americans are tuning into more of the Sound of Freedom?
Sound of Freedom is about child and human trafficking.
Just the title itself, beating something as popular as Indiana Jones. What's that say to you?
Let me share some number first before I give that answer. Indiana Jones's budget was nearly $300 million. Sound of Freedom budget, $15 million, a fraction. Jones was released in about 4,600 theaters. Sound of Fury, 2,600, 2,000 less. Yet on July 4th, it generated more money at the box office because maybe, just maybe, there is an audience for this kind of content. And Disney passed on Sound of Freedom, and now they're paying the price big time by saying, hey, maybe people want to go see an 80-year-old superhero, right, or at least an iconic figure. And instead now people really are interested in this topic because it is a major, major issue. Again, mainly happening at the U.S. border that the media also is not covering.
And it stars Jim Caviezel, who is in Passion of the Christ. There's
That's
a
right.
religious element to this movie as well. It's unfortunate that people are making it out to be a conservative movie because it does have
Because of the Christian,
discussions
yeah.
about the southern border.
Right.
It's about child and human sex trafficking. It's not Christian. It's about a very serious issue about children who are suffering in a major way. So I definitely want to see it. And I think that a lot of our viewers will want to see it as well.
Triple date tonight. Let's do it.
You got
Could be
it.
fun.
It's Friday.
Quadruple date.
I'm always a party of two now.
Joe, thanks for coming in. Joining
Thanks,
us.
Joe.
Have a good one.
All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.